problem. On this problem here, we are solving our triangle using the law of sines. So we're given a few items and we need to figure out the rest. So remember that the law of sines is going to be the sine of angle A over little a equal to the sine of B over little b equal to the sine of C over little c. So we are given angle C, which is 78 degrees, angle A is 32 degrees, and side C is equal to 12. One of the easiest parts to find first would be our third angle because we're given 2. Remember, our third angle is going to be found by subtracting the other 2 from 180 degrees because all of the angles in a triangle add up to 180. So angle B is going to be 180 minus 78 plus 32, which will be 70 degrees. So now that we have found that angle, we'll use that here in a little bit. We're going to go back and see what we can find. When we're looking at these, we have to use whichever sine ratio that we have where we have both parts. And the only one we have both parts on is C. So I have to use sine C and little c to begin with. So sine C is going to be the sine of 78 over 12. And I'm going to go find little a first. So that means I'm going to do the sine of angle A, which is 32 over little a. Now I can cross multiply to get my a out of my denominator. So I'm going to end up with a times my sine of 78 is equal to 12 times the sine of 32. Then I'll divide both sides by sine of 78. And I end up with a is equal to 12 times the sine of 32 over the sine of 78. Now remember, when you're doing these, what mode is your calculator in? Because we are using degrees, make sure it's in degree mode. When you plug this into your calculator, you should end up with 6.5 as your distance of side A. Now we can go do the same thing with B, because we need to find little b. So we're looking at the sine of B, but we're going to use our ratio again of the C's. Again, I try to use what's given in case I made a mistake. So I try to use, if I have given parts, to use those first. So the sine of 78 over 12 is going to be equal to the sine of my angle B, which is 70 degrees, over my little b. So I'll cross multiply again and I get b times the sine of 78 is equal to 12 times the sine of 70. Again, dividing both sides by the sine of 78, I end up with b is equal to 12 times the sine of 70 divided by the sine of 78. And when I put that in the calculator in degree mode, I end up with 11.5. So I was given 3 parts to my triangle, and I found the other 3 parts of the triangle, because in total you will have 6. And that is how you do it with the law of sine.